What is the biblical purpose for the rapture of the church? Jesus says in John 16, verse 33, "In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." How do we reconcile this verse with the promise in Revelation 3:10 that says, "I will keep you from the hour of trial which shall come upon the whole world"? Well, we must first understand that the rapture of the church is an appointed time known only to the Lord to remove his bride, because he is getting ready to start Jacob's trouble, the tribulation. Jesus told us that we would have small t tribulations or trials in this world. Ever since the church began, the saints have suffered from a fallen world. Many believe the purpose of the rapture is to relieve us of all our present troubles, financial issues, health issues, persecution, and our present groanings. That, however, is not a biblical teaching. In fact, Jesus says to his disciples in John 17, verse 15, "I do not pray that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil one." Yes, if the rapture happens in our lifetime, we will be instantly relieved from our worldly sorrows. But this is not the biblical purpose of the rapture. Let me give you an illustration. At this present moment, we are waiting for the Lord to return because the rapture is imminent. However, there are some of us who will likely die before the rapture event happens. None of us knows for sure. Are those hoping in the rapture presently who have died before the event occurs on earth robbed of its joy and hope? No. Listen to 1 Thessalonians 4, 13 through 14. "But I do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those who have fallen asleep, lest you sorrow as others who have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so God will bring with him those who sleep in Jesus." So we see that the dead in Christ participate in the rapture event first. They get their glorified bodies first. And then we who are alive and remain will be caught up. Now, I know what you are probably thinking, but I don't want to die. I want to experience being snatched up in the twinkling of an eye. I know, I do too, but that's not up to us. God has an appointed time, only known to him, in the fullness of times for the church age, for the rapture event to happen. Yes, we see that day approaching, as the signs are all converging. But we simply cannot know on a personal level how long the Lord will keep us on this earth. We have to correct our thinking from the rapture exists to help us escape trials and suffering in our earthly life to the rapture exists as a transition in which God ends the church age and focuses on Israel and the judgment of the world. The main purpose of the rapture of the church is to give the world over to divine wrath and fulfill Jeremiah 30, quote, "Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. And it is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." There is a lot of sensational teaching out there, using the rapture event to promise people that this event exists only to help them escape all their earthly woes. Not so. In dispensational teaching, we understand the rapture as a transition, speeding up the fulfillment of Bible prophecy and ushering in the tribulation period. With the church removed, the Antichrist can now be revealed and the scroll opened in heaven. Our thinking needs to change. We need to be willing to endure if the Lord tarries. We need to be willing to give our lives if the Lord wills. Of course, we focus on our blessed hope in appearing of the Lord. But again, we cannot guarantee that everyone presently alive at this moment will be alive to be snatched up. The problem with using the rapture event as a means to escape worldly trials is that it sets us up for disappointment and heartache when our expectations are not met. Having an eternal perspective that the Lord has predestined us unto good works that we should walk in them, Ephesians 2:10, and that He alone knows how many days we have left on this earth, helps us to persevere and run the race well. The early church was commanded to wait for the rapture, and yet many of them endured horrible deaths. Our brethren around the world are being persecuted and tortured to death for Christ, and yet they are commanded to wait for the Lord's return. Is God unjust to allow some saints in the church age to die? Not at all. Only the Lord knows the saints that will be alive and remain to be caught up with the dead in Christ. That is why it is so vital we understand the purpose for the rapture event. If the Lord tarries and we continue to suffer in greater degrees, even if we die, God is faithful. He is under no obligation to return on our timetables. He has an appointed time. Now, I hope that during my lifetime, that event takes place. But even if it doesn't, I owe Him my life to begin with. Quote, "For you were bought at a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." 1 Corinthians 6:20. Again, none of us are promised tomorrow. None of us are promised to live 70 to 80 years on this earth. Let us be willing to die for Christ, and perhaps maybe, before we know it, we will hear the trumpet sound. Maranatha.